Alrighty, how are yous? We're finally back doing a bit of fab work. So if you saw in the last video, maybe you didn't, but Stedi got onto us and hit us up with a bunch of these 7-inch spotties. So the idea for it here is, instead of a light bar, I'm going to be running 5 or 6 of these across the front of the roof. So what I need to do is make a next hoop up, the kind of mount them to, because they're all going to be getting hung from the top, and then going to do some braces back, and then one long and down the side. So bit of work, nothing crazy, but we haven't done welding for ages. So I've already started a little bit, just cutting a bit of sizes and stuff. I'll just walk you through kind of what I do to get angles and whatnot. Now, I'm a basic guy, so I'll do it with a flat edge. If I held that where I wanted it, I'd mark the center of where that is, and then I'd kind of mark underneath the 2 points, 1, 2 on either side of where I'm going to be cutting that angle up. So I mark like that point, and center, and then I just drop the blade in there. Usually it doesn't kind of fit this nice first time around. Still got to hit it with the flappy disc, but yeah, it's always trial and error when you go and just kind of like that. But yeah, that's kind of how I make everything. So pump it together. I'll do the main hoop first, mount all the lights, and then I'll do the braces back, kind of make sure everything's sitting right before I really get into it. Now here is the finished bend with a little bit of grinding, like a tiny bit, barely touched it, but that's just about good enough. Like not perfect, but you can feel. Also have to make sure that this wasn't sticking out, so it's going to be leaning in a little bit, and I can kind of make this work with whatever angle when I'm figuring that out. All right, fast forwarding a bit because I think all this stuff is kind of boring. So I'm kind of setting it up like that, and I hold a spotty there to kind of get where this radius is going to be, and I've just tacked it on. Now the hard part about this is kind of trying to get them to sit the same way. No, just by kind of guessing and holding one light on either side. Don't really have much to measure off, but if you can kind of see, this one looks like it's kind of leaning out a little bit more. But I think the bases are in the kind of the same spot. I just need to pull that one back over. So I've kind of gotten it to a point where I can take the whole rack off now and fiddle around with it. All right, so you got them sitting okay. Now this main bar across the front, if you remember the video making this, it's got a bit of a curve on it to follow the windscreen. So I have to do the same with this top bar, because otherwise you can kind of see it'll be a lot closer in the middle, so the lights kind of won't be sitting in the right spot. They'll be hitting the windshield probably. So I've just marked the 2 points kind of where I've used the old kink bender, and I've got to get that same radius, so it looks mickey. But now that I've taken this off, my god, thank god I made that, because it looks so ugly with nothing on the roof. So they call them kink benders because you can kind of see in the middle of that bend it develops a kink if you do it on one spot. Now if I'm doing any more than like kind of that amount of a bend, I've got center marked on this, so if I was doing a bigger bend than that, instead of having 1 point, I'd have maybe 3 or 4 each side, and I'd start like at the long point, do a few pumps, move to the next point, and so on, so on, so on, so that the inside radius is not just kinking off 1 point, it's kind of running through the whole show. And that gives you a bit smoother a bend with these. But like, no matter how hard you try, the cheap bender like this isn't going to be anywhere near as good as the good stuff, but good enough for this stuff. So there's that following the existing now. I also forgot to say, when I'm doing each point, like say I'm doing those 2 points the same amount, there's also a little point in the middle, but that's not as much. When I'm doing 2 points, all I'm really doing is just counting how many pumps I'm doing. Like that gets it pretty close enough for me. This is probably a bit tighter than what that bottom one is, but that's probably better off. That keeps the lights a bit further away, if anything. Just cut the ends now and then tuck that on, see how it's sitting. So a hard point with this one was getting it in kind of the right rotation to where the bend is also falling on that bottom one, kind of height wise. But I don't know, if you can kind of tell through that, it looks like it's pretty even the whole way through, which isn't too bad. And then kind of this way as well, like the bends are kind of following each other, so not too bad. As I said, kind of everything I'm doing is by eye and just kind of guesstimating it. So not too bad, really. So that's probably the main frame of it done. What I was kind of scared about was looking kind of too fat and bulky. I was kind of trying to keep it as slim as I can, which, I don't know, when I show this to you, I'm gonna get the tabs sitting right on top of that bar, so the bar's hanging kind of down right near the light. But if I can kind of zoom out, I kind of can't go back anymore without going higher, because the bottom of the light will hit the windscreen. So it was either I go back and up or kind of forward and down. And obviously I can't go any kind of further down because, yeah, I didn't really want to block the windscreen too much. So now, I've marked this side, and I'll mark it on the other side, and then I'll work out kind of the distance between them and where I can get stuff to sit. And then after I do all that and make all the brackets for them, I'm gonna get supporting bars coming down from this top down back into there. And then from this one, there's gonna be a long one coming the whole way, because we've got little light bars for in there as well. So one coming the whole way, and then I'll bend it up, and then we'll meet up kind of on this point as well. So it should be fairly braced. It is just like a roof rack anyway. It's not mounted to anything really, apart from the gutters, which are getting absolutely bent every time I hit this. But should be sweet. Moving forward, I've pumped out this little sidebar. You can see it's quite an angle onto that, which was no real stress. I just marked the short point and the long point, and then kind of draw down the radius of what this pipe's running. And then also you can see what I mean about that kink bender. This is working in the sections as well. Now people like pack these with sand and stuff just to make it more dense inside so it doesn't crumble in the say, but I don't really worry about that. Like honestly, once it's painted and stuff, I'm a short bloke, so if I get off this bucket, I would never say that in my life. So if it's someone else's car, yeah, maybe I'd go through the effort, but this is my car, so I can kind of do stuff that I don't really care about. But this is just real quick. Need to do the other side, tack these on, and then hopefully I don't need to keep bringing it up onto the roof. That will just about be it, and I can just finish it down on the ground. But yeah, that was kind of a fun one to notch. These are the little light bars going in the side, and by God, they're such a good looking light. But if you can tell, it's going to be nice and snug in there. Now I've got all this room at the front, which I don't really know how. I might plate that out with some holes, just because like it kind of looks unfinished having that and then all of that. Or should I just put this light center and kind of make it look like it's meant to have like kind of the gap on either side? Alrighty, so fast forward to the next week. I don't get anything done throughout the week because I don't have a shed, so by the time I get home it's dark. And if I even wanted to try to do something, I have to open the garage, pull all the tools out, pull the welder out onto the crush rock driveway and get into it. So weeknight stuff doesn't really work out for me. But next weekend, and this is where we're at, I've gone ahead and kind of just jumped the gun and mounted up all the mounting brackets, where I was going to do the 3 holes, which are like, I don't know, just more mounting holes really. but this is probably going to get cleaned up by trees and stuff, so I wanted these to be able to like kind of swivel if they get hit, which should be all sweet. And I was going to do, I got like a long bar, and I was going to like groove it in and then have a bit there, groove out, so there was like a kind of continuous bar, but absolutely no need, so keeping it simple. Now that's just hanging there, that bolt's loose as, so that's a fair bit lower than how it would sit, but obviously it's blocking the windscreen a little bit, but like it's no worse than people running like window banners and stuff, like the stickers across the top of the windshield, so really no worse than that. While I've got it up here, so I was just checking the kind of the angle of those plates, but while I've got it up here, I need to mark where I'm going to put the brackets for this, which I'm going to do it just dead center in between the two mounting points, and then I'll take it back off, finish weld all the tabs. I'm going to put little tabs for all the wires coming off the lights, just like up along this one. I'm going to have all these little tabs for cable ties, so I can cable tie the wire too. So yeah, do all that. Not even done, but oh, I just can't wait. It's gonna look so sick. Also, took the Trappy boys off and put the wheels that were on the Baja onto it, the black Savs 35s. So I put these on, which they're balanced, and now it has the biggest steering shakes in the world, so it's pretty deadly. So this is the bracket I've come up with. The brackets that come with them just wouldn't have worked whatsoever. So I've just ran this, that's gonna go between the two tubes, bolted to both, just one both sides. I might put a slot in it so I can kind of adjust it, but very basic. All right, light bar tabs on. These are welded through. I've cleaned it off, and little tabs for the cables, and now I've cleaned off, gonna paint. Outside spray booth, working a treat. Now, I hate painting so much, so the preparation on this was pretty average, and I didn't take like everything off. I just kind of sanded it all out kind of as best as I can, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a shocking paint job, but I don't really care because it gets absolutely grinded up onto trees and stuff anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So outside spray booth works again. There was a bit of rain overnight, but didn't affect it too much. Quick blow off, away you go. Just bolting it back on. I'm so happy I made this bolt on, makes shit so much easier. But look at that. All the little cable tabs, all the big tabs, can't even see, but yeah. Let's get some lights on. It is go time. I am so pumped. Let's get into it. Just rough running the cables now until I actually wire it up. But look at this. Have a look. Oh my god. That is unreal. Look at the stance on it. So right now is where you'd probably get like a sick edit of angles and I don't know, cool stuff, but you don't really get that with me. You just get me talking a bit of smack behind the camera. So look at that bad boy. Obviously because the curve on the top, the light's kind of curved with the windscreen. I haven't angled them like that yet, so they're a little bit out, and so is the covers on the Stedi. I reckon that's gonna piss me off, just them not being in line sometimes. But overall, that looks pretty sick. Let me get some different angles on it. God damn. Absolutely flogging down as well. I'm getting drenched, but all in the name of it. Obviously haven't put them in, but you know. Now, a few people are probably going, oh, what about your vision and car, whatnot? So, let's have a look at it. Yes, they are there. Yes, I can see them, if I can go wider. Yeah. Oh, that makes it look a lot worse on the camera than what it actually is, but I'll try to get it to my head height. It's about there. So, I don't know. If you're going up hills, I suppose, you kind of need to duck and look up, but if you've got a window banner, like a sticker, mate, it'd be way worse than what this is, so I don't mind that at all. Man, look at it in front of you. Sick as. Now, at the end of the day, I don't claim to be a fabby at all. Can I weld? Yes. Can I weld good? No. So, this isn't like a tutorial of how to do shit. This is just me kind of showing you, like, if you don't have the perfect circumstances, then still give it a crack. Like, pissing down rain the whole time I've been making this, really. And even like outside spray booth in the rain, welding on a crushed rock driveway, have to drag the welder out of the shed to get to it. Like, plenty of things in the way, but if you don't have a shed, don't let that get in the way of like you trying to make shit happen. Now, would it be easier to go to a custom fabby bloke and get this stuff done? Yes, 100%. It would come up 20 times better, be done way quicker, but realistically, it's a big money saving part as well. More you can do, the more you can save, especially if you're a people owner and stuff. So honestly, just give it a crack and you'll save yourself a fortune, especially on bar work and stuff, when you want to be a little bit different with your custom bar work. Just give it a crack yourself. Honestly, what's the worst that can happen? So yeah, stick into it.